So Israel Adesanya finally gets his get back against Alex Pereira in the UFC 287 main event and puts him out cold and badly with a nice counter right behind the ear, gets him rocked, same spot again with the same shot, puts him down out cold. He slams the back of his head against the canvas. He's done. It's over. With a crazy celebration, a ruthless celebration. Then he goes over to the side and he mocks Alex Pereira's kid. It's crazy, a crazy event. And this is kind of what the UFC wanted, because when you really break it down, Israel Adesanya's name was kind of becoming bad. It was kind of depreciating over time. When you go back in time and look at his past fights, he was a really exciting fighter. People loved how exciting he was. The Kelvin Gastelum fight is a big example of how exciting he really was. Then he KOs Rob Whittaker, and a great performance by him. And people love Israel Adesanya now. He's the biggest name in the sport outside of Conor McGregor and maybe John Jones, but he's their next golden child. He's their next superstar for years to come. And then we get to the Romero fight, and everything kind of starts going downhill from there. The Romero fight was an extreme letdown, an extremely boring performance, and it really kind of had people, rioting against Israel Adesanya. People hated this man. So obviously he has his fans, he had people who stuck up for him. And then we go into the Paulo Costa fight, and he had a great performance there. Completely schooled Paulo Costa, knocked him out in the second round. Crazy performance, gave him a little hump at the end. It was a nice performance by him. And people kind of got back on the bandwagon for Israel Adesanya. Then he finally moves up to 205 to fight Jan Blachowicz. And he got beat, he got outclassed, he got outstruck, outgrappled, and he just wasn't big enough for 205. It wasn't good enough. So people were kind of like, oh, he lost to 205, he went up a weight division. There's excuses for him there. So the Israel Adesanya fans are kind of already like on their last leg here. They're kind of like really trying to really defend their man. And then he fights Marvin Vettori in a hyped up fight, and it's like 10 leg kicks around. It's kind of another basic, boring performance. He was very technical throughout, don't get me wrong. However, it just wasn't really entertaining to the casual fan or even some of the hardcore fans. Even me, as a hardcore fan, I didn't really find it too exciting. And he fights Rob Whittaker, and he arguably loses. He generally arguably loses 3 rounds to 2. He gets the decision anyways, and now everybody's pretty much like, we don't care about Izzy anymore. Izzy is pretty much a dying name. His name is really depreciated in value. He's not the big star boy that everybody thought he once was. He's kind of lost that value in the market. Then he goes and fights Derek Cannonier, and it's the same thing, kind of another 10 leg kick performance. And keep in mind, the entire time this is going on, he is hyping up these press conferences, saying he's going to destroy these people, he's going to knock them out, saying he's going to put on the best performance of a lifetime. And it's just another dull performance from Israel Adesanya.
Trust me, he knows I put him on skates last time. And this time when I put you on skates, I'm gonna leave you frozen like Elsa. If you win this fight, when we fight, I knock you out, I'm gonna do a TikTok dance over your grave.
And finally, we have the storyline of all storylines. Alex Pereira is back from kickboxing. He's the boogeyman. He's ready to come back and take the soul of Israel Adesanya, and he does. He actually does it, which is absolutely insane. He comes back from probably being down 3-1, I would say. Was winning the 5th round and then eventually putting Israel Adesanya away. And now Izzy's name is kind of in the dirt. People are kind of just like, oh, Alex Pereira is a new man now. He's a new dog in the yard.
I'm the new dog in the yard, and I just all over this cage.
He's a new dude to watch now. So they booked the rematch because obviously Izzy was a long-reigning champ. He deserves a rematch. And people are kind of counting him out. I was picking Pereira. I thought he was going to win, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And Izzy puts on a great performance, even though the first round was kind of slow, kind of a filling out process. They really weren't throwing many punches, kind of just leg kicks only. And the second round happens. Pereira comes out swinging. Adesanya swinging back. They're going in. Then Pereira lands a nice leg kick, stumbles Izzy for a second. Izzy covers up, and then Pereira starts going to town. Gets a little bit too overconfident and gets counter-righted, put down, rocked, and then put down even worse with the second shot, and it's all over. And social media is going crazy. Every single sports media that I'm seeing has Israel Adesanya mocking Alex Pereira's son, or Israel Adesanya doing a celebration, or a graphic of Israel Adesanya holding a bow and arrow. I'm seeing so many things involving Izzy. I'm seeing people in my personal life who I know don't even watch UFC post Izzy content. It's crazy, and this is the best thing that could have happened to Izzy. This was all on marbles for him. It was his ego was on the line. Everything he ever worked for was on the line for this fight. And it's a great thing for him. But man, I hope he stays interesting. I really do hope he stays interesting. I'm worried. I don't want this man to go back and just do 10 leg kicks and go back to the Whitaker and Vettori and Cannonier fights, the Jan Blachowicz fights. I don't want any of that ever again. I want this Israel Adesanya. I want him to be just as motivated as he was for this fight as he was the other fights, because this is what the UFC needs. This is what me as a fan needs. This is what everyone needs in the sport. Another big name to perform like Israel Adesanya did at that night. I do kind of feel for Alex Pereira in this sense, because Alex Pereira kind of is the underdog. Well, people kind of attribute, being poor and growing up and making out the hood. They kind of attribute that to Israel Adesanya when really that isn't the case. It's kind of more so Alex Pereira, who moved to the favelas for a better opportunity. He moved into the favelas to have a better opportunity. Meanwhile, Israel Adesanya, grew up rich in Nigeria. So people were kind of misconstruing that fact about Israel Adesanya. It's a really feels bad situation for him, and I really hope he can come back. And I really kind of want a third fight. I really do want a third fight. I really want to see this be settled, because I think Alex Pereira was on his way to eventually breaking Israel Adesanya, but it just didn't happen. He got too overconfident in the pocket and got killed. And I don't know how he didn't learn that in the first fight, because in the first round, the same thing happened. He got too overconfident in the pocket, and he got countered for it, and he got rocked, and luckily it was the end of the round. He got saved by the bell. It's the same situation in this fight. He stayed in the pocket for too long, got a little bit too overconfident, and got hit with the same shot that rocked him right behind the ear. So it's a tough one to swallow for Alex Pereira. I think he'll be back. If they do have a third fight, I'm probably going to pick Adesanya this time. I just think the momentum and then being out cold completely, it's just too much to come back for sometimes. But I really do pray that Adesanya doesn't go back to his cringe personality, because it's already cringe enough. His personality is already cringe enough with the Eminem lines and the quotes and stuff like that, and the dog collar. Like, it's pretty cringe to me. I find it pretty cringe. But if he's winning and putting on great fights, I could really care less. I don't like his personality, but if I can watch a fight and enjoy a fight and have an exciting fight to watch, that's all that matters to me at the end of the day. Your personality can be as cringe as it wants to be. So thank God for Israel Adesanya finally getting his get back. Even though I wanted Alex Pereira to win, I want to see him move up. But this sets up a great opportunity to for them to meet in the future. The third fight isn't ran back now. We can run it back in the future, hopefully at 205, because let's be honest, the weight cut for Alex Pereira is probably what's making his chin not stable, not good. And that's why he's getting KO'd by Israel Adesanya. I want to see Alex Pereira go up to 205, maybe beat a contender there or two, and then challenge for that belt. Or maybe we have Israel Adesanya at the same time moving up, fighting the champ, maybe fighting Jamal Hill or Yuri Prohaska, getting the belt from one of them, and then having Alex Pereira come back and meet him for that championship belt again for the third fight. They're one-on-one MMA. Alex Pereira kind of does deserve a rematch at middleweight. I just don't think he's going to want to cut that weight anymore. Who knows? But I'm excited for the future, man. The future of the UFC is exciting. We have another big name back in the sport. He's finally back to who he used to be and even bigger. So I'm excited as a fan. I hate Izzy. I don't hate Izzy. I wish Izzy would be less cringe, but you gotta deal with personality sometimes as a UFC fan. So